And go.
Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. So I figured I'd do a short video on why The Grudge is so good, so effective as a horror movie. A lot of it stems from different culture, right? So Japanese culture, particularly World War II and post-World War II, had an emperor leading the country, which was a figure thought to be divine, which puts a lot more weight on duty and duty to state. And that sort of framework for your horror movie adds like a very different credence to everyday things, right? So you have a duty to perform your everyday duties. If you fail to fulfill them, you are literally letting down God. That sort of deal. Now, The Grudge itself, in terms of structure, plotline, character arcs, that sort of thing, isn't that good. There's not a lot of character development there. It works sort of as a mystery in its vehicle, but very little character arcs, very little character development. Just basically a Japanese version of a slasher that unfolds as sort of a mystery. So if it's so limited, why is it so effective as a horror movie? Well, one of the reasons is the imagery of a malevolent, essentially all-powerful child with like black pupils that has like mentally regressed to a cat while witnessing the tortured death, suicide of his mother out of jealous rage before being like strangled slash drowned in a dirty bathtub. Like it's like horrifying. He has like no reason to spare you. Like all he's ever known of like importance is like despair and like rage. It's like just a furious spirit that has like no reason whatsoever to like spare you, like regardless of innocence. Like given that there's like no escape or like appeasement of this thing, we on like some Christian level in the West, we sort of understand that we have like no right to oppose like this innocence, you know, justified rage which will like claim us. In essence, it's essentially just a curse on being itself, which, you know, spreads its evil to itself is justified. The emotion behind it, behind the curse is like relatable. It's that like obsessive, jealous, paranoia over like the sacred value that like many of us hold, right? That being of like monogamy. Like only degenerate leftists don't have any value for the sanctity of monogamy, marriage, tradition, and like, quite frankly, gives a fuck what they think. But like this culture, which holds this value, holds it to a much higher degree because the family is like the building block of the country, and if your country is run by your literal god, then it would indicate like that, a gross, horrible failure of duty and betrayal of God for your family unit to break down, right? So, yeah. Like, what caused the curse, it like plays out as a bit of a mystery throughout the movie. Like, you're not quite sure what has done this. But the movie straight away like gives you this information, and it's like opening shot. Like clearly, the foot tapping anxiety and paranoia. The bloody and obsessive like fingernail chewing paranoia. Like the suffering at the debasement of the values and like the terrible consequences of like what's about to happen. And then it just shows like an innocent party, the cat just getting like roughly grabbed. And then you like just hear through like the movie's like beautiful, absolutely excellent sound design, just like stabbing noises of a cat, and like then the little kid runs and hides. Like right there, it kind of tells you, at least through implication, everything that's happened, but you're not like 100% sure. But it's just like this creepy opening shot, which like just sets the mood for the whole movie. And look, I gotta say it again, like the cultural setting of the movie, like that cannot be like understated either. Like that of the extremely structured and conservative Japan, where like the head of state was at least at one point in time thought to be like a literal deity. Like it throws a whole new, a whole new weight to the idea of duty in a society. Like, it should be mentioned that, books like War Without Mercy and books like that are books literally about, like, Japanese war crimes and propaganda point out that the tie in the language and, like, fused meaning between, like, purity and divine. Like, literally the characters they use for the words. Like, that, like, alone linking, like, one sense of, purity and duty and like sanctity to their very soul, like in the face of like a deity, right? Like duty itself, like extending to the state and therefore the family unit. Like, so the corruption and destruction of the family unit like is pretty much hell, especially when it's like from within. It's like the greatest crime and failure in like a immoral duty to both the state and God and the divine. And like, since it is like such a horrible failure to God and the divine, ergo through the state, it's like the domain of demons and hell. And like, even if we can't articulate this, like us in the West, we still realize this sort of to be true. And it's like horrifying and terrifying. We realize like hell's at work here, right? And like this hell just, directly plays out by, targeting the innocence of the society, like throughout the entire movie, right? Like the innocence parties, like the cat and the child who's like hiding. And then like the next most immediate innocent party in this like culture of duty are those who have already, fulfilled their duty. So it's the elderly of the society, right? That's where most of this, takes place, in like social housing where people who have already paid their dues to society are like trying to live out like the rest of their lives, basically. So like they're theoretically the most innocent because they've already done their duty. They're just trying to enjoy like the rest of it. And of course, on top of that, it is like the next to be targeted are like the social workers trying to facilitate this, trying to help the elderly live out their lives through the social housing and stuff. And again, that just plays completely into the whole culture of Japan, where duty is the highest ideal, looking after the state, family, emperor, following the emperor's, word and all that sort of thing, is considered to be divine and pure. Like, this even extends down to the house itself, right? Like, this sense of duty in the Japanese culture and the grudge subverting it. Like, the houses they go to are, like, dirty and untidy. There's, like, the tub full of the dirty water, implying, like, you're not even able to get clean in a place of, theoretical purity. Like, you can't even get clean in the bathtub because the bathtub's full of, dirty water. And, like, the dirty water has, like, more significance because, like, Toshio was drowned and, like, strangled in the tub. So it's, like, both physically dirty and, like, spiritually dirty as well. And, like, the houses, like, the elderly and, like, the social housing itself is dirty. There's, like, junk everywhere. There's wrappers. The house is unkempt. There's, like, bedding that's, like, been sweated on and it's, like, sweated through and it's all yellow and disgusting. Like, that's twofold because it implies someone's extremely anxious and they're, like, in terror, sweating when they're, like, trying to sleep and that sort of thing. And, like, the whole thing, because, like, Japan is, sort of conservative when it comes to the idea of duty, is the whole disease disgust response to it as well. Like, the curse isn't just in the house, the curse spreads and follows people that, like, encounter it. And those that encounter it can, like, pass it on. So it's like a disease as well. So it's like another take on the, conservative disgust response idea sort of thing. Like, another horrifying thing about the movie, the victims of the curse are, like, taken into this, like, catatonic state of, I don't know what you call it, this despondent catatonic state where, like, they're just hopeless, they can't even answer, and they're just sort of being, horrified by the curse, like, the whole time that they're alive, and they eventually just die. And, like, even when they are, like, theoretically killed by the curse, like, some people are just killed outright, by it. Some people are taken, and it's not clear where they're taken. They're just taken by the curse. Like, theoretically, if it's, like, following, themes and stuff, they would be taken, straight to hell. And the idea that you can just be taken by something straight to hell, you have no real say in it, it's not justified in its judgment, it's just like a hateful curse spreading, and you can be, like, subject to, like, eternal torture because of the curse. And you sort of are, because if you're directly killed by the father curse, you appear to be the next iteration of the curse, the father of the curse, who, killed his family. Which happens to one of the characters, the very last character in the story, and we, like, see her corpse in the same exact manner in the attic, like, where the woman was, like, put after she was killed. And because, like, she's there, the idea is that the curse is going to keep repeating. So it's like a horrible disease infection type deal. And obviously, like, so the movie's, it's not that good in terms of structure. It doesn't have, like, character arcs or anything like that, right? It was basically a slasher. People encountering the curse and then being killed by the curse, right? A lot of it depends on the scares. So, like, the next most effective thing in the movie is, like, obviously the sound design. Like, particularly the death rattle of the curse ghost before it, like, attacks its victims, where the victims like are simply gotten. Like it's not clear where they go, if they go to hell or wherever. Like, it builds great tension because the death rattle like starts slow and then it like builds in intensity as the threat increases, which is like a good subtle sort of way to, you know, increase the tension, the setting, the tone, the whole deal. It's like, it's absolutely horrifying. And then you just have like little touches in the movie that like add that little extra bit of horror, and it's like nearly like mental illness sort of inspired, like the schizophrenic, paranoid, taped up, you know, wardrobe thing that leads to the attic where the body is. And like, therefore, like, that's the origin of the curse. And like, at some point, some victim of the curse has like literally gone mad and like schizophrenically tried to tape it up to, you know, stop the curse, even though, you know, it doesn't work. And it's just, yeah, it's just horrifying, and it really hints at something horrible at play, and it's just really effective in terms of being creepy. And then, like, not only does it spread, but it can, like, literally get you, like, anywhere. Like, it doesn't obey, like, the normal rules of, like, material reality. It can, like, teleport. It can be invisible in certain moments. It's just, like, it's there. It's following you around. You can't see it, but it's there. And, like, one of the characters literally gets got when she's, like, lying in bed behind like a locked door. She's like cowering in bed with the sheets over her head, and like it's literally right in there with her, and it gets her when she's in bed. Like, the idea that you literally can't escape from it, it's like absolutely fucking horrifying. So yeah, it's like, it's great, but it's like not the best in terms of structure, character arcs, like actual story sort of thing. But it exists as its own thing because it's so unique and it's so effectively creepy. Like, it's one of the creepiest like horror movies going around, and it is, yeah, like, it's its own thing. Like, you just gotta watch it. It's very unique, put it that way. Like, there haven't been many movies like it. And it's just has its own culture, it exists as its own sort of separate art. It's just like great by itself sort of thing.
Cool. Careful now. That's better. Good.
No! Ah!